Texas governor orders campuses to address anti-Semitism, drawing free speech criticism. Now, this baffles me. Um, uh, Abbott is doing so well on the border, yet yet he calls himself a conservative, yet he wants to stop people from using their First Amendment rights. First Amendment, we have a right of free speech, whether you like it or not. They can. It doesn't matter if it's they call it anti-Semitism or not. And we know how Jewish people are using the term anti-Semitism now. Now, if you say Christ is King, it's considered anti-Semitism. So where does it stop? I mean, we can't even say that it's wrong for for Israel to kill women and children and starve them to death. We've seen the videos, we've seen the pictures of this devastation that's happening in Gaza. So, and that's considered anti-Semitism for having empathy and sympathy for the people, for the women and children that's losing their lives. And we can't even speak to that on college campuses. I never in a million years thought that I would be agreeing with leftists when it comes to this, and agreeing with the entity cares when it comes to free speech. I never in a million years would have guessed this. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store. Also, check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for news as well. All right, let's talk about this news. Now, this comes from Legal Insurrection from Terrence Kibble. And he reports that the governor of Texas issued an executive order on Wednesday, March 27th, addressing campus anti-Semitism, including anti-Semitic speech. The order quickly drew the ire of individuals and organizations across the political spectrum, from the left and the right. You know, this is crazy. But the March 27th order directs institutions to, quote, review and update free speech policies to address the sharp rise in anti-Semitic speech and acts on university campuses. Institutions must further establish appropriate punishments, including expulsion from the institution for violations. Muslim civil rights and civil libertarian groups CARE and FIRE condemn the order on free speech grounds. Now, I can't believe I'm actually agreeing with CARE. But conservative commentators Matt Walsh and Christopher Rufo criticized the order for creating, quote, safe spaces for resembling DEI policies that privilege certain groups while excluding others by omission. And I'm surprised that Matt Walsh, being at the Daily Wire, spoke out against this, to be honest with you. But under the order, institutions must, quote, ensure that these updated policies are being enforced on campuses, including against student groups like the Palestine Solidarity Committee, PSC, and Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, which the order mentions by name. Quote, as students we know, we are constitutionally protected by our First Amendment rights. SJP Houston told Legal Insurrection. We will not capitulate, SJP Houston continued, to the racist, Islamophobic, and anti-Palestinian, anti-Arab racism of Greg Abbott's executive order, and we call on others to join us in rejecting the blatant attempt to suppress free speech. We condemn the racist campaign being launched in violation of our state and federal constitutions and reaffirm our commitment to fight for the liberation of Palestine on our campuses and communities. The University of Texas at Dallas PSC told Legal Insurrection in a joint statement with Texas SJP chapters also posted to Instagram. And again, I agree with these groups. I'm surprised. Me as a conservative have to agree with these leftist groups because we're all fighting for free speech. But the order requires institutions to, quote, include the definition of anti-Semitism adopted by Texas in their updated policies as guidance, quote, on what constitutes anti-Semitic speech. But you got to understand, you can't put anything in writing. There's been, I think Oh, it was Candace Owens who interviewed a rabbi and asked him what was anti-Semitism, and he couldn't even give a definition because he says it changes. So if it changes, like now we can't say Christ is King is considered anti-Semitism. Where do you include that? You know they changed the definition. So you can't really say that. But Texas' definition of anti-Semitism incorporates examples of anti-Semitism from International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance (IHRA) definition of anti-Semitism. The IHRA definition lists examples of anti-Semitism like Holocaust denial, quote, claiming that the existence of a state of Israel is a racist endeavor, and quote, accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing committed by a single Jewish person or group. Hold up. Hold up. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. It says accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing. So if we real wrongdoing, so we said they said if the group of Jews is committing real wrongdoing and we call them out on that, it's anti-Semitic. So technically speaking, from this definition, they are committing anti-Semitism. That's wild. So you can't criticize them for now. It makes sense. You're not supposed to criticize them for them starving children and bombing and killing women and children. Is considered anti-Semitic. That is wild to me. A simple criticism for a real wrongdoing is anti-Semitic. I had no idea. But quote, Texas supporters free speech, especially on university campuses. The order reads, but such speech can never incite violence, encourage people to violate the law, harass other students or other Texans, or dispute the core educational purposes of a university. Texas has stated support for free speech, however, did not ally the fears of groups like CARE, Texas, or FIRE. This executive order dangerously encroaches upon the rights of students and university committees to engage in open dialogue, argued CARE Texas. Quote, the state mandated campus censorship violates the First Amendment and will not effectively answer anti-Semitism, argued FIRE. And Rufo compared the order to DEI programs promising to prohibit, quote, anti-black speech, while failing to mention anti-white speech. He said, I am committed to the fight against anti-Semitism on campus, but I am concerned about the highlighted provisions in Governor Abbott's executive order, which instructs universities to update free speech policies to prohibit anti-Semitic speech. Walsh criticized the order for trying to, quote, ensure that college campuses are safe spaces. He said, establish appropriate punishment for anti-Semitic rhetoric in college campuses. There should not be any laws for forbidding any kind of rhetoric on college campuses. There especially shouldn't be laws to ensure that college campuses are safe spaces. And I agree with that. You should be able to say how you feel. You should be able to have your own opinion and form your own opinions. That's what college was supposed to be about. Texas State University, University of Northern Texas, UNT, and the University of Houston, UH, told Legal Insurrection they are reviewing the order to ensure compliance. UNT and UH highlighted their existing commitments to preventing discrimination, with UH reaffirming its commitment to free speech. Here's the executive order here. Again, I can't believe Abbott did this. He called himself a conservative, but you want to stop people from utilizing our the very first amendment he's trying to prevent. But let me know what you think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.